Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, do not have an intro video up yet because, well, it's only our second show. We're figuring everything out as we go. But welcome to tonight's Monday Madhouse. As always, I am your host, Jay Wendell. And as I mentioned before, it's always going to be a toss-up with who's going to be here with me, whether that's from the Midwest Metal crew or the Asylum Radio Network crew. Diego, our boss, so to speak, over at Asylum, will be joining me later on in hour number 2. But before we get too far carried away, I want to take a second to talk about our sponsors. First up, we have Raise Energy. If you find yourself in need of a pick-me-up, look no further. And make sure to take advantage of our 15% off code. Use the code MWMS for any order with Rep Sports and give them a shot. Honestly, stuff's fantastic. Not to mention, if you're trying to stay away from like the heavy sugars and stuff, it's good stuff there. And also Pipe Bomb Industries, our buddies over there. Very soon we'll have a code here for you for 25% off of all merchandise they have there. Not to mention Midwest Metal Show is going to be starting things up very, very soon here with them as far as our own merchandise goes. Also, hey, Tamara. Hey, Jerry, how you doing? Let's see here. Anyways, now that we got the prerequisites out of the way, I want to welcome our special guest today. Let me bring him on here. We have Mr. Cosgrove of Sleep Signals, the wonderful singer. Sir, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. So, that being said, I have William on here that mentioned there's going to be a 10% off code here very, very soon. As soon as we have it, you will have it, and you guys need to buy all the stuff from it. Anyways, but so Sleep Signals, first off, first single in a while just dropped, Means, which is fantastic. I love everything from the song to the video itself. I mean, you guys went all out for just putting together a good video and everything, and I'm very, very excited to see what you guys kind of have lined up coming up. So
yeah, man, we've got a bunch of stuff ready. You know, we just shot 4 videos back to back here. Everybody flew out for like 10 days. We're out here for 10 or 11 days or something like that. We shot 4 new videos. So yeah, we've been busy.
Right, and I'm going to assume that by the quality of the first one, all of them are like you guys kind of went all out for all of them.
Yeah, we did some pretty crazy stuff, and a couple of these are like this one was just kind of performance. The rest of them all have storyline and everything to them too. So, and then we did some really cool green screen stuff for a couple of them. And I
was going to say there was a ton of pictures on like social media and stuff like that of you guys working in front of green screen. So I'm very kind of interested to see how all that stuff goes. So let me go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room at least a little bit. At least to anybody who's been following you and Sleep Signals and everything going on. Now, last year, I know that you kind of hit a rough spot of where you weren't sure if you wanted to keep doing stuff. And obviously that has changed hard.
Yeah. It's, we were going through a lot of things with COVID. We weren't really sure what exactly was going to happen. We've historically been kind of scattered all over the place, like all over the country. And, everybody had actually moved out here prior to COVID so we could start playing more regional shows and, start writing more and just doing more things out here. And right after everybody moved out here, rented a house out here and everything, COVID happened. So everybody's like, why are we here? Why, we can't tour, we can't do anything. So why are we here? And everybody just kind of moved home. And, COVID started to prolong itself and start to seem like it was going to be a long thing. So, everybody kind of started doing their own thing. Cody ended up getting married, moving down to Texas. Sean kind of started up a solo project thing that he's been busy with. Tyler, I know, went home and he's working on his pilot. Well, I think he's got his pilot license now, and he's like working towards getting into the commercial airlines and stuff. So he's going to be a pilot soon. And yeah, just a lot of crazy stuff. So I wasn't really sure what was going to happen with it. I kind of stepped away from it for a couple of months and just kind of reevaluated things. And it was really interesting around that time. The tour we had lined up last May. We were supposed to tour with some friends of ours out from the Oregon, Washington area, and that band was kind of going through some similar things that we were. And Grant, the singer from that band, and I kind of started talking about, hey, let's start some project. And we weren't sure if it was going to be something new or if we're going to keep going under Sleep Signals or something else. And so ultimately, we've been sitting on this album that was supposed to come out last May. Fireproof that we released last year was the first single on it, and The Means is the next one here. And we just decided to go all out with it. So we're going to drop that album this May now. And we're already starting to write some material for the next album. And we're going all out.
So speaking of Fireproof, first off, I mean, that dropped, that was actually about a year ago right now at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't know if everybody who would be watching or listening would know the story, or at least what kind of influenced Fireproof. So tell us that wonderful story.
Yeah. So we were on tour in I think it was 2018, early 2018, maybe 2017. I can't recall, but we were on tour and we were driving from somewhere in Iowa to Springfield, Missouri, and our van just kind of shit out on us in like Kansas City, and we stopped and had a transmission guy look at it, and he did some stuff with our hoses and told us, yeah, this will get you down to Springfield, and we got a mile down the road. And all of a sudden, just the power went out in the van, and the van just kind of, we're pulling a trailer, and van just kind of lost power steering. We just kind of limp it off the interstate, go down a ramp. And by the time we got to the bottom of that ramp, there was just smoke pouring out of the front. And we're like, oh, like, what do we do? And very shortly after, there was fire kind of like shooting out of the front, and we just kind of like grabbed whatever we could, and it spread really quick. Whole thing lit up, and then a couple minutes after we got out, it caught the fuel lines or something, and she blew up like action movie style, like a fireball. You can find videos of it on YouTube. It's pretty interesting, actually.
Well, on the bright side, everybody was safe. Not all your stuff was safe, but but you guys were.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy, man. We lost all of our stuff, like all of our like clothes, blankets. Obviously people, like lost like headphones and cameras,
iPads,
laptops, all that
computers,
stuff. Yeah. And then the craziest thing though was that everybody lost like their blankets, pillows, had to go rebuy all that stuff. And we went and bought it that night. And then we stayed at this house that somebody just offered up for us to stay at. And randomly, this place that and I went back to Wisconsin to get. I lost my wallet in the fire, so I went back to Wisconsin to get a new driver's license and stuff. All the other guys went and stayed at this house, and they ended up this house had bed bugs, so they just went to Walmart and stuff and like bought all these new things and
they all need to be
and then they all had to burn them like the next night again already. So it's like adding insult to injury.
Right. What? So, I mean, obviously, you guys have had some interesting things happen to you in general over the years. So. I know also other stuff that you were contending with a couple years back, and I don't know how that's honestly, it hasn't been something I've talked to you about since, health-wise and everything. I mean, there was a period of time where there was a series of live shows that you guys ended up having to have somebody fill in because you simply could not do it. How's your health holding up these days, man?
It's hit or miss, but for the most part, I feel pretty good, and I'm confident or fortunate to to be walking and talking and all that kind of stuff. I had a stroke in 2018, and probably partially due to the stress that I deal with being in a band like this. But I had a stroke, a major stroke, and fortunately, I was young enough to where with some rehab and everything, your brains are really pretty fascinating things. They rewire a lot of connections and stuff. I could barely walk. I could barely talk. And then about 3 weeks later, with a lot of rehab, occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech therapy, I managed to get most of that back. And I just now kind of have like a little residual numbness in my right side, and have some weird headaches and weird head things. But it's more like PTSD, because every time you every time you start to feel weird, you're like, oh shit, am I having a stroke again? And then that kind of like makes you get really like anxious, and then anxiety kind of feels like you're having a stroke. So it's kind of like this snowball thing where it like just it's kind of like it's very PTSD kind of thing, I guess. But other than that, like I said, I'm super fortunate. I'm super thankful to be walking and talking and singing and performing still. And it could have been a lot worse.
Ashley Robert says, "Hey Jay, hey Robert." And by the way, guys, if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to shoot them at us. I'm sure he would be more than happy to answer random stuff. And Brittany says hi. And let's see here. So obviously everything's kind of getting ready to roll again. How often are you planning on dropping? Because you said you recorded three other videos on top of the fact that you guys just dropped drop means. So how often are you planning on dropping, and when are you hopefully, because you're sitting on an album right now, aren't you?
We are, yeah. So the album will come out in May, and the singles are looking to be about like every 8 weeks. So we should be dropping something again probably in the next like 7 to 9 weeks ish. So I don't have an exact date yet. I think we're still kind of figuring some of that stuff out, but it'll be soon.
Well, I know I'm going to end up having to get some new merch, just because I always do. I have a ton of Sleep Signal stuff actually at this point, but I actually really like the new stuff. But then again, I'm a fan of purple, and that seems to be a theme going on with the new stuff dropping. So
that's the theme with the new single. Yeah, like we're all about the purple. We did everything purple for that release. Like I've seen some other bands doing that recently too, and I just love it. Like like the first one that comes to mind is that Beartooth album from a couple years ago. Like everything they did was just all orange like that, and I just loved it. I love like the color theme and everything. So yeah, we everything for this album, or for this single release anyway, has been all purple.
So out of curiosity. And Ryan Stepp says
Hey,
hi to
up,
both
Ryan?
of us here. Now, question for you. So, and you don't have to answer if you don't want. I know one thing that you've generally had a habit of is having guest spots here and there, like track with Marty from Boba Flex, now Lonely One, stuff like that. Anybody of note making a guest appearance on the new album?
Not on this one, but I wouldn't rule it out for future singles and stuff, because we've definitely got some stuff cooking.
So do you guys have any, I know it's hard to really plan anything, but as things are starting to at least show some signs of life again for playing out live, are there anything that you guys have actually put on the books to be able to do anywhere yet?
We're still really talking about it right now. We're being kind of extra cautious about it, because we don't want to announce something that we later have to go and then cancel. So if we're going to do it, we want to make sure we do it right. We want to make sure that it's, that it's something that we can actually do, but we have definitely been talking about it. We've had a couple tour offers coming in. And I'm confident that sometime like late summer, early fall, I'm pretty confident that we'll have something set up. I'm feeling really good about it.
Well, let's see here. I'm trying to think of the last time you guys were in Ohio. That was probably up towards Cleveland over the one show that I couldn't make it to. It was probably, I don't even think the venue's there anymore. I think it was there and gone, but like something Links, I think.
Yeah, Music Links. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think the last time actually we were there was Cleveland with Hell Yeah and Nonpoint. I think that was the last time we came through in 2019. Yeah, 2019.
Okay, it was while I wasn't living up there anymore because I'm down in Columbus now. So, not that that's terribly far away or anything, but still, I
yeah, you dropped the ball, man. You didn't come up to Cleveland to see us.
I know, and I've been following you guys for since I think we started talking probably 2016, 2017, somewhere in that neighborhood. So
something around that, yeah.
And I'm hoping, because I feel like every single time you guys make a push, it's a big push, and you guys get a lot of traction with like new listeners and everything like that. And I'm waiting for that push that ends up. What's the wonderful term? Breaking. And
yeah,
I feel like you've been teetering that edge.
Yeah, and like the member changes and stuff, that doesn't help, and obviously
and pandemics don't help.
Yeah, COVID really put a wrench in things for us for sure, because that was big for us. Fireproof was big. We went hard on that. We went hard to radio. We had that song on Octane. We had it on I think like 80 something FM stations that picked that track up, and we were on Billboard for 11 weeks with that track. Things were like really humming along, and that track was really good for us. And then we released it. What was it? I think it was sometime in February. So it was out for like less than a month, and then all of a sudden COVID. So
then, yeah,
it was just horrible timing.
Right. It was basically, hey, all the stars are kind of aligning, and then the stars kind of took a big shit. So
but it's for everybody. It's like I try to always remember that. It's not just us. It affected everybody, and all the bands out there are hurting right now. And
on top of that, I feel like there's always something that has to throw a little bit of a roadblock in what you guys are doing. Like every time things are going well, then things catch on fire.
Literally, figuratively, yeah. It's no, I mean, and it's I think it speaks to the resiliency of the group. Like we've been through a lot of things, a lot of difficult things that would shut a lot of bands down.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
We're still somehow here and floating. So it's what makes you who you are, I guess. It grows some character,
So obviously with everything, music industry has been super weird lately. There's been a lot of great music coming out in general, which has been really, really cool. Then again, there's a lot of bands that have hung it up actually through all this. And so it's been just sort of a weird dichotomy. A lot of bands that I'm been really sad to hear decided they were done. A lot of albums came earlier than I was expecting, so that was good. Anything in particular out there that you have enjoyed quite a bit lately that you weren't expecting?
So I'm so bad about catching up on new music, man. I have a tendency to listen to like the same 10 albums from like the early 2000s, like on repeat, like all the time. And I mean, and strangely, like I haven't even really been listening to like a lot of rock stuff. I guess like the out of all the newer stuff like that's come out in the past year, I think like what I probably listen to the most is probably The Weeknd, which is obviously not rock or metal, at all. But yeah, I'm not up on like a lot of the newer releases that have come out, to be honest with you.
It happens. I mean, the only reason I'm up on a lot of it is just because, it's kind of my job at this point.
Yeah, and I try really hard to make sure that because we're writing music all the time, and like I don't want to, in a weird way, like I almost feel like if you listening to a lot of the newer music coming out and stuff, like it can influence you and like as you're writing, and it's maybe that's a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing, I don't know, but I just I find myself spending more time, and I will say this too. One thing that's definitely true, and I know I've heard this from a lot of other, a lot of other songwriters. You get to this point where like listening to music is like you can't help but analyze it. You like analyze everything. It's like I can't. It's really hard for me to listen to music for fun anymore. That doesn't mean that I don't have fun listening to it, but like I'm not listening to it for fun. Like I'm listening to it to like pick it apart in little pieces and analyze every little tiny piece and be like, yeah, I really like what they did with this line, and like this line, I think they could have like done this, and they could have cut this verse halfway, and like it's just
right. Well, I've noticed that like with a lot of what I do, on top of the fact of, while I'm not really in practice anymore, I grew up in music, playing music, playing cello, playing bass, playing in everything from punk bands to actual jazz bands and stuff like that. So I had at least, some of the technical background and everything. And with doing this, I find myself in that same boat a lot of times where I'll listen to something and it's like the things that nobody cares about is what I start picking apart. And which
it's crazy.
Which sometimes is actually really good, but sometimes it's like everything feels clinical at points.
For sure. I know exactly how you feel. Like it's exactly like, and I'm a super like type A, like analytical type of person. Like I've got like an analyzing type brain. So like, I focus on like metrics, of things, and like, it's annoying.
It's probably one of the reasons why in a lot of stuff that why I listen to a lot of jazz and prog in general, just because at least there's some really, really weird and unique elements in there a lot of times, just to kind of throw me at least for a little bit of a loop somewhere.
But for sure.
Although one thing I've noticed though too is on the flip side of that, I've gained more appreciation for music that I didn't necessarily like as much before. Like it's opened me up more musically, but at the same time, it's made it more clinical.
Yeah, and as I've gotten, as I've aged, I've like definitely started to appreciate more types of music, and it's weird, even stuff like that came out in like the '90s, like that I didn't like at the time. Like I'll go back and I'll listen to it now, and I'm like, yeah, like I get why people really like this. Like
right.
all the new metal stuff that was coming out in like the late '90s and stuff when I was in like junior high, and I'm like, all my friends were like, "Oh, this is the best, man!" And like, I'm like, I just don't get it, I gotta go back and listen now, and I'm like, like I can kind of see like what people were liking about this. Like it was good, But yeah, you start to like, I don't know. I grew up playing hardcore too, where like like everybody in the hardcore scene is all like, yeah, if it's not hardcore, then it's garbage, like
right.
So
basically, whatever else comes out, fuck that.
Like it's very like elitist kind of genre of music. But I've started to like definitely open my horizons and start to appreciate a lot of other types of music.
So I know you said that like the music that you generally listen to is a lot of times the same stuff repeated that from like late 90s 2000. What are your go-tos?
All right, so the whole brand new discography, I'll listen to that all the time. Like all the old Thrice stuff, that's in my rotation all the time. A couple of the old In Flames albums are there all the time.
Which ones?
Clayman and Colony, specifically.
Okay.
Like I sit and listen to those albums on repeat over and over and over again. And then
there's nothing wrong with that. Those are fantastic albums. Like and the funny thing is, those were like I feel like that's almost sort of an end of an era for them anyhow, because I really like Reroute to Remain, but it definitely changed feels at that point. So
Same, yeah. I still like that album a lot, but it's not in my player like as much as like, and I say player like I have a CD player still. Like it's not in my
dude,
rotation of MP3s, I should say.
my car actually has a 6-disc changer in there, so I have a weird mix of stuff in there. So
But yeah, otherwise like I listen to I like I grew up with a lot of the like early 2000 metalcore stuff, especially the stuff that was coming out of Orange County. So like the first two Avenged Sevenfold albums, I was super into those. You know, like the most of the Atreyu discography. Bleeding Through was like one of my favorite bands. You know, growing up, I listened to them a lot. 18 Visions. So yeah, like a lot of those bands too. Are kind of like my go-to, like that early 2000s metalcore, Orange County
right.
stuff.
I always think it's funny, and actually, Ashley was mentioning in the comments like some of the other hosts for the Asylum, including the main guy of the group, Diego. Everybody is big into new metal. I do enjoy new metal, not as much as them. I just, like I actually dug Korn and stuff like that. It was something that I really got into, like because that was like when I was in high school too, because I graduated in 2000, and a lot of I was the weird kid that while I played sports that I didn't really fit in anywhere, and I'd be the kid getting hyped up to like metal and stuff like that while everybody else is listening to like rap or at the most rock wise AC/DC or something. It's like
Yeah,
I don't fit.
I did Korn actually a lot growing up. That was one of the new metal bands that I did actually get into. But yeah, like I was saying, like I've gone back now and listened to like I never got like the Limp Bizkits and like I know it's like a bad name to say right now, but like the Marilyn Mansons and stuff like that. Like I never got it when I listened to it, but now if I go back and listen to it, I'm like, yeah, like this is actually like pretty good songwriting, and like they were pretty good, and like I get why people were into it, you know.
Like there were some points with Manson that I really enjoyed, and other points that I didn't. I mean, regardless of obviously staying off subject of all that shit, but like that was never one of my big ones. I was an industrial actually a lot in high school for whatever reason, and actually still am today. But oh, sorry, I'm looking through some of these comments, and you can actually click on them too to see what's there. See, New Metal Trolls is what they are. Yeah, the other guys on here, and William's actually the guy who owns Pipe Bomb, who's going to be doing our merch here very, very soon, and very excited about that. Just because we got our pretty new logo that we just got designed by. You're familiar with? Are you familiar with Heartsick Heroin?
Yeah, yep.
used to be Scar. Well, at least half of them used to be Scarlet Canary. Yeah, Hannah actually is the one that designed the logo. So
nice, cool.
Oh, just one binder. Yeah, I used to carry like one of those huge ass binders of CDs in my car when I had like before I could stream and just Bluetooth things. Although, man, those CDs took a beating. All of those CDs, like I had to constantly kind of like do like the cleaner, try to get the scratches out and stuff like that, just because it was brutal. So
yeah, I think about like my kids growing up that are never gonna have to like go through like trying to play a CD that's all scuffed up and scratched up and doesn't play anymore, and like the binder, I legit just took my binder. I have one of those big black leather binders with the four panels on it. Just finally, I mean, I still have all the CDs and spindles, but like I just finally took that to Goodwill, just like a month ago or something.
Like I still do like CDs. Like I have CDs in my car just because actually I think my Bluetooth on my stereo is good, but it loses some of the treble on it for some reason. So a lot of times I still enjoy actually putting, like I have a 6-disc changer in there. It's a 2013 car, but but I do try to get CDs occasionally, although honestly, I usually just default to Bluetoothing stuff over. Oh, this comment's fantastic here. Kids these days will never know the pain of driving down the road and trying to find that one CD with that one song. that is very true. Then again, kids these days will never understand how dangerous it was to just try to get a couple of those MP3s that you wanted to download and end up giving your computer the equivalent of cancer.
Yeah, Limewire days. They don't know
Right.
about Limewire either. Now you just have like this easy Spotify thing.
Like, there's so many people that won't understand the reference to like Metallica and Napster and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I don't miss those days. I killed a computer doing that. So, and although you know what, actually I do kind of miss those days. I made a lot of money as a high schooler fixing computers that people ended up getting so ridiculously ridden with viruses that so
the best too is like, do you remember having to like, I remember like trying to find an album, right? And like you're downloading a song takes like sometimes like a half a day to download, and like trying to find those seeders, and like you're just like sitting there sometimes like one song left on the album and you're just waiting for like 2 weeks for somebody to seed it enough to where it actually downloads.
I remember an album specifically. I was trying to download Rammstein Mutter, however you say it. And it was before the actual release date, but it had leaked online. And like, there was like 2 songs that like I had, it was like stuck at like 96% too, where it just like stopped downloading and trying to find seeders to actually be able to download the rest of it. And yeah, those were the days. So for those of folks that aren't super familiar with you guys, so tell us how Sleep Signals started.
I mean, it just started with I think on Craigslist, basically. You know, like it was a couple of us got together and you know, started playing some music, and it wasn't very good, and you know, we you know, people just kind of gradually got sick of it, and we just started looking online and, you know, looking on Craigslist, Facebook, kind of trying to find people, and eventually, I don't want to say we found the right lineup because a lot of those guys aren't around still anymore, but you know, eventually we found some lineups that kind of made sense, and we started going on tour. And you know, I know most people who are familiar with us, we've had quite a few members in this band for sure, but it's hard, man. It's hard to find like-minded people that want to hang, you know, that are capable of hanging, you know, like it's not especially when you start touring, like it's not glamorous, it's hard, and you know, and then our shit starts on fire, and you know,
right,
like so yeah, like I said, we've been through a lot of adversity, you know, and it's definitely you know, it has a tendency to kind of scare people off from time to time, you know.
Right. So Eric says, hola, gents, which I'm pretty sure you have talked to Eric in the past. Honest Brutality.
Yeah, I think was Eric. You'll have to remind me. Was it on the show with you?
The bee. He talked about a bee stinging your foot. Yeah. I
was doing a phoner, and I'm walking like we were out at our guitar player's house, kind of like in the country, and it was summertime. I was walking around in flip flops out in the like in the grass, and it's like farmland. And right. Yeah, I'm like mid sentence, and I just kind of like stopped, and I'm like, I just stepped on a bee, and like I somehow got in my flip flop and stung me like right on the sole of my foot, and it was brutal. Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, Eric and I, we actually covered Aftershock together. I keep wanting to say last year, but nothing happened last year in 2019. But I love the entire Honest Brutality team. They are fantastic. They're such good people. So And actually, for anybody watching, if you haven't already, check out Honest Brutality. Find them on Facebook. They have their podcasts. They have all kinds of stuff they do. Absolutely worth your time. Some of my absolute favorite people. Let's see here. Sleep Signals is one of the most pro-love acts you'll see. Or live. Oh, he meant to say live. Well, I mean, okay. I guess you could be pro-love too. I mean,
we're pretty pro-love too. Yeah, like we're not about the hate. You know, we're pro-love. Thanks, Eric.
Actually, it's a really interesting point, and actually, that's been kind of accurate. The vinyl market, for whatever reason, has been taking off again lately.
Yeah, and we actually just pressed, or we're in the process of pressing our first vinyl for this new album that drops in May. In fact, I've got test presses that just came in the mail. I have to listen through them and make sure that it all sounds good. I got to listen to our album 7 times in a row, and we put for bonus tracks on it. We put our last album on the other side too, so I have to listen to 2 of our albums back to back 7 times. So I'm going to listen to our album like a total of 14 times tonight when I get off the phone.
Well, it's a good thing you guys don't suck.
Well, I've heard these songs like a few times, so yeah.
Eric says he'll be picking one up, which does not surprise me at all. He's been big on vinyl lately, so
you can pre-order it right now, actually, and we have it on our merch. Just go to sleepsignalsmerch.com, and it's pretty sweet. It's we got like an opaque blue, like kind of like neon-y blue kind of color to go with the ethereal artwork. So it's pretty sweet.
I might need one of those too. Let's see here. And Will, he's the guy who owns Pipe Bomb. William, you should order some there too. I have the sneaking suspicion you'll like them quite a bit if you have not heard them. So, Ashley, let's see. You got 3, all Nonpoint. You do need more vinyl. You should go pre-order the Sleep Signals album.
Nonpoint is sweet though too. We just we toured with them in 2019, and they're all great dudes, like super friendly dudes. They're really great.
That and they're probably one of the most interactive bands out there over the years, just as far as with their fans, and just generally gracious and just very, very generous with their time in general. Oh. You mute. I don't know if you muted yourself or what happened there, but you went silent on me. No, still nothing. We're having technical difficulties.
How about now? Sorry.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
I bumped a button. Yeah, I was gonna say that was one of the really cool things that I noticed about Nonpoint, and that's something we try to do too. When we're on tour, we try every night to be out in the crowd, like talking to people, hanging out at our merch, and like getting to know people. I know a lot of bands like go hide in the background and stuff, but Nonpoint was the same way. Like every night, it was really cool to see them out there, and they were all interacting with fans and hanging out and stuff. So I really respect that about those guys. They're really, really cool dudes.
Yeah, they are absolutely fantastic, and honestly, I mean, everywhere you guys go, you end up basically making friends, period. Not just fans, friends. I know that obviously with the Rock Rage crew and everything that I previously worked with, they absolutely, almost everybody over there loves you guys. I know that. Don over there, Kitra. Kitra's on many of her band shirt of the days has had one of your any number of shirts that she's got from you guys over the years. I know I'm up to like I think I probably have, I want to say I have like 3 or 4 shirts, and I know I have a hoodie. So
nice. That's awesome, dude. But that's what helps bands out. That's what helps bands release new music and all that kind of stuff. So we really
buy merch.
Appreciate that stuff.
But
for sure.
Well, buy merch, and on top of the fact, Sleep Signals always has great quality merch, and they always end up dropping new merch too. I mean, like the amount of times that there's been a lot of bands over the years that I've seen that, like, okay, they have the same shirt going for a while, or they have like one or two. You guys have had a ton of cool merch.
Yeah, we try really hard with that stuff. Like, we want to make sure that we have lots of options and lots of stuff for people. And we've actually invested a lot into ourselves with that. We picked up like our own press and everything. So like, we're printing our own merch most of the time now, unless we're doing like huge orders before a tour. We're printing most of ours now, like on demand and that kind of thing. So, and then we design a lot of it too. Like probably about, 75% of our designs we've actually designed too. So it's really, it's cool because it gives us the opportunity to like, kind of express the music in a different way, like you do like a music video, and we help write the scripts and a lot of that kind of stuff on the videos. And then, you kind of can express it in the artwork and the supporting artwork and that kind of stuff too. So it helps to bring like this whole package together. It's really cool.
See, Ashley's asking where did you tour with Nonpoint in 2019? Well, a lot of places, but
yeah, that was I think we did like 18 dates on that run with Hell Yeah and Nonpoint. And it was mostly, I don't think we went west on that tour. It was mostly Midwest and East Coast for that particular tour.
And let's see here. We touched a little bit on this, but Eric's asking about post-COVID tour format look like for you guys.
Yeah, like I said, we're kind of, like, we really want to get out and tour. We're ready for it. We want to be out and touring. We have the new album dropping in May, so we definitely need to be out as soon as we can. But we don't want to do it until it's safe for everybody. We don't want to put anybody at risk. We don't want to be at risk, ourselves.
Well, especially
either.
with everybody living in different spots too. I mean, it's one of those things it takes a little bit more of a effort to kind of get everybody together and going and such. So, and
yeah, and to be fair, like half the other guys already have COVID, have already had COVID, so they probably don't have to worry so much about it. But I haven't, to my knowledge, had it yet, so I'm trying not to get it. But like I said, like it's more about other people too. Like we don't want to go and catch it and then start touring to city to city to city and like spreading it, and being part of why it's spreading. So right. We're kind of holding off until it's safe and like I said before too, we want to make sure we do it right. We don't want to announce another tour and then have to cancel that one too. So
right,
kind of holding off until we know for sure that it's happening.
Then also Eric saying digging the new single, is it an indicator of the album's sound?
The album has a lot of different sounds, man. I mean, like, you've heard 2 singles off of it so far now. So you heard Fireproof and you heard Means. And those are drastically different songs. They both still sound like Sleep Signals, but, Fireproof is a lot more kind of like pop, smooth, kind of R&B kind of influence. Whereas Means definitely kind of brings out more energy, and you can kind of hear our hardcore metalcore kind of background coming out in it. So, it's like I think we just won some award or got nominated for some award or something, and it was some Minnesota music thing for being the most versatile sounding band. And I thought that was really interesting because it's not like we don't like try to like, let's see how different we can make all these songs sound like, but we write music that we like, and it comes out how it comes out. So but yeah, I mean, it's what part of the album sounds like. It's what that song sounds like.
So, all right, random question time. All right, first off, Marvel or DC?
Dude, I'm like really not like super huge into the comic book stuff, but I guess like not really. And like, I guess I have to lean towards Batman a little bit. So I guess DC.
Fair enough. All right. Favorite cheesy B movie?
I don't, is it, so while my other dudes were out here, for filming these videos, we had like one night where we had like a movie night, and I like made them watch this movie because they haven't seen it yet. And I don't even, it probably is like a B movie, I guess, but like, I think it's fucking hilarious, and I watch it like I've probably seen it 25 times, but Orgasmo. Do you know that movie?
Oh,
like
yeah.
the South Park dudes.
Yep.
I don't know. Is that a B movie? It probably is kind of like a B movie, right?
It feels kind. I mean, really, the movies they've done. I mean, that and Basketball really kind of. I mean, but
it's like
I'm
it's
I'm
that's just the
surprised they hadn't
last one
seen
that
it.
I've watched. Yeah, I know, right? And no, that was just the last one that I've watched that kind of like just popped into my head. But otherwise, I don't know. There are very few movies I've watched that I haven't liked, and strangely, like, so when I was going to college, I worked at a Blockbuster for like 2.5, 3 years, something like that. And then when I was growing up,
too.
nice. Another thing that kids won't know what a Blockbuster was.
Right.
But then randomly too, when I was growing up, my parents owned a video store in this little town of 1,500 people. They had a video store, and they built like a 1920 style or like a 50s style, I guess, with a 1920s soda fountain. It was like an old fashioned like ice cream shop.
Okay.
So it was kind of cool. But yeah, so I've been around movies a lot. Like, I've seen probably most of the movies. But I guess I don't know. Like, I can't think of any other B movies. Like, what are some B movies?
Like, one of my favorites is Reanimator.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's like a weird. It's all practical effects. So, and it was kind of based off of one of the H.P. Lovecraft stories, but it's just fantastic. If you ever get a chance to it's. I mean, like, I guess like other B movies, like anything Trauma could be considered B movies. Like, so like, Toxic Avenger and stuff like that. I mean, there's.
So I got to call this out, okay? Because this is like so weird and random, but cool. So we were just talking about that video store, right? And I just talked about how like it was a town of 1,500 people, right? Not 15,000, 1,500 people. And somebody just said the name of what my parents' video store was right there, the Video Barn. That's what it was. So what are the odds? That's crazy.
We said we have the last remaining block. That's right. There's the one in Oregon. There's like, it was a franchise. They still are opened up under the Blockbuster name.
Yeah. Is it like what city is it? Is it like Bend or something, or somewhere near there? Because our guitar player Jay lives in Bend, or well, he lives in Prineville, just like pretty, a couple hours away, I think, actually, from Bend, actually. But yeah. He was just talking about it like not too long ago.
I'm sure he will answer here in a moment, since everything has that little lag. Still have our Blockbuster card. I got rid of mine a long time ago. I
had never even needed one, man, because I knew what my account number was. So anytime I went in, I'm trying to remember what it is now. But
right, when I worked there, it was one of those things. I got free rentals anyhow, so.
That's also true. But even after I quit, because my account would just like, they didn't deactivate my account. They just like made it a regular account. Right. So it was like 97554 or something like that. I don't even remember. But like, I just go in and I'd say the number and they'd be like, all right, we got you.
Saying they're close together. I'm not sure if we missed a comment in there or something. But anyways, so let's see. What else do we have here? If you could pick any existing movie or TV show to put your it's in Bend, he says.
Yeah.
If you could pick any existing movie or TV show to put your music in, what would it be?
Any movie or TV show? So I mean, I grew up, I mean, obsessed with The Simpsons like my whole childhood and young adult life. I mean, it kind of sucks now, I guess, but I still force myself to watch it. But that would be cool as hell, honestly. To somehow, I don't know how you'd work it in. I know, like, I remember like Metallica was on there once, right? So like, yeah. I don't know how you would work it in, but that would be incredible. So yeah, The Simpsons, hands down, that's my answer.
All right. Let's see here. Worst food you've ever had on the road.
That's a hard one too, man. Cause like you could ask me like best food and I'd like start rambling off this huge list. But so like part of my favorite part of being on tour is eating all the different foods, in all the different cities. So like every time we go to like some new city, I'm talking to locals and I'm like, what's good here? Like where do we have to go eat? And
Right.
I'll go try it, because it's like something new and something different. But I don't know. It's all good, man. I like food in general. I don't know that I've ever had bad food on tour. Maybe like gas station sandwiches or something. Maybe that's probably suck.
I mean that is always a little bit dicey. So
Yeah, you stay away from the egg salad and the tuna and stuff.
Who in the band has the worst taste in music?
I'm gonna say Grant, and I hope he's watching because he's gonna know. He knows. He knows.
He knows.
That's where I'm gonna leave it. But he knows what I'm talking about.
All right. Thanks for the questions, Ashley. Have a good night. Let's see here. What? Tacos, underrated or overrated?
You can't have enough tacos. And actually, see you got me talking about like the good foods now, right? Like
right.
there's this place in El Paso. I'm trying to remember what it's called. Taco Tote. This place in El Paso. There's like maybe 3 or 4 of them. It's like a little chain, but it's only like local to like El Paso, I think. It's called Taco Tote, and they have like these little street tacos. And they have like this giant salsa bar that's like just ridiculous. And they have like all the, like Mexican desserts and stuff like the flan and like all of the like all the good stuff. And those tacos are killers. So every time we go to El Paso, everybody else wants to go to like the fast food taco place and get the shitty, gross, cheap tacos. But I'm like, no, we got to go to Taco Tote.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get the shitty ones. Get good stuff everywhere.
and I'll tell you what. One time on tour, we were in I don't even remember where we were playing, but we had an off day on Easter, and obviously like nothing is open on Easter. So a friend of ours actually we were, it was really random. We like went up into the mountains in Texas and stuff and saw we went to what do you call that with the lights? The Marfa lights in Marfa, Texas.
Okay.
It's like alien shit. So we went there and saw that and everything. And then our buddy from Albuquerque kind of like came down and we crossed the border and went into Mexico. And we went to this place. It was like, I think like I paid for everybody was a $20 bill, and it was like probably a 50% tip, and it was like 4 giant plates of food. It was like just crazy, and it was like authentic, like super authentic Mexican food. It was really, really good, and it was nuts.
Apparently, some people are. Looks like William and his daughter are aware of the tacos you're talking about, so.
Yeah, and there are mountains in Texas. Like they're mountainish. Like I don't know, like in West Texas, like probably like 2 hours east of El Paso, and
really, there's like everything in Texas. It's so damn big Texas in the first place.
And actually, the first time we ever played in El Paso too, there's a couple ways to get into the city, and we were coming down from Colorado Springs. And a couple ways to get into the city, and we took the wrong way, obviously. But we had a van and trailer, and there's like this big, giant, scenic pass that I don't know. It's like El Paso and what is it, Juarez on the other side are just like so vast. I mean, it goes on forever. It's like one of the biggest metropolitan areas, actually. Like I think in North America, and we were. It's like this big flat area, and then there's a giant mountain, like random just mountain in the middle of nowhere. And we ended up driving up that somehow with the van and trailer, like holding our breath, making sure, you know, like please don't let our transmission shit out on us or our brakes shit out on us as we're driving back down. But yeah, there are definitely mountains in Texas.
All right, let's see here. Sorry, I'm messing with the comment bubbles to see if this makes them a little bit smaller so it doesn't take up so much of the damn screen. I'm still figuring out all this stuff. Does that work? Yeah. Hey, there we go.
That looks good.
Tomorrow, the Riverwalk in San Antonio has great Tex-Mex food. Really, there's so much good food in Texas anyhow. Like anything from barbecue to actual Mexican or the Tex-Mex stuff. Just, I mean, we've
had some good brisket down there. Like people have brought us brisket at shows before. It's been crazy good.
Oh man, now I want some brisket, some good brisket. I mean, because you can't really find good brisket around here. There's some decent brisket in like Nashville area, so I'm looking forward to when I head down there next, just because I want brisket. But
yeah, well, we don't have it here either. Like we have cows, but they're all dairy cows. Like I'm in Wisconsin, for those that don't know. But yeah, we have lots of cows, but they're not the beef kind. Like they're the milk kind.
So let's see here. Kind of head through their to the festival next month to take a look. Let's see here. She completely agreed with something. I'm not 100% sure what she completely agreed with. But
that's what I was thinking.
But let's see here. So what's the weirdest hobby you have outside of music?
I mean, I don't do anything like super weird. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, my biggest hobby, at least like the last couple of years here now, probably outside of band life and family and all that kind of stuff, is probably fishing. I do a lot of fishing. I have a boat, and I've been working on my boat, and the ice is almost gone here. The river's almost opened up, ready for me to. It's only like in the 40s, you know, maybe 50 degrees, but the ice is melting enough for me to get my boat out. So I'm going to try to get out in the next couple weekends here and do some fishing.
So, all right. We're not going to count Green Bay just because you're wearing the hat there. Favorite sports teams?
Obviously the Packers, and like I'm a huge Packer fan, and like I usually I wear a lot of hats on stage and stuff, and I'll tell you, like some of the most interesting shows we've played are like in like Chicago and Minneapolis when I'm wearing my Packer hat. That really, especially Chicago. Like I remember one show at the House of Blues when we were on tour with the Treyu at the House of Blues in Chicago, where like the whole crowd was chanting like. Can I say it? Is this a
Oh, I don't know. You're good. You can say whatever the hell you want.
Yeah,
you're good.
Like there's a whole crowd. The whole crowd was like chanting like "fuck the Packers" or "fuck Green Bay" or something like that. And like, yeah, definitely. It was the wrong show to wear that, but it definitely got a rise out of people. But yeah, the Packers, Brewers, Badgers, and then the only team that I still have some allegiance to. I'm originally from Chicago. I moved up to Wisconsin when I was like 7 or 8, but I still have allegiance to the Bulls. But otherwise, it's all Wisconsin teams.
Any hockey in there?
Not really. I didn't grow up with hockey at all. Like, again, grew up in a town of 1,500 people. Like, we didn't have any hockey. Strangely, like just right across the border in Minnesota, like it's like hockey is like life.
Right. It's so weird that with everything being as close as it is, that Wisconsin doesn't really have much. Doesn't have a hockey presence. So.
And like, I mean, I guess we don't have a professional team, so maybe that's part of it too. But like, I mean,
even Columbus, Ohio has a professional team.
And then, like Minnesota didn't have a team, I guess, for a while between when the North Stars moved down to
Dallas.
So I don't know. See, I don't pay much attention to hockey. Yeah, Dallas. And then now we got the
Minnesota Wild. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I like. I was really into sports growing up a lot. Not necessarily really good at them, but I was really into them. And I'm much better as an adult, actually. And yeah, I for whatever reason, I just never picked up hockey and soccer were like the two. I just never. We didn't have them, and I just never picked them up.
Ironically enough, Columbus has a soccer team too, but soccer's never been my thing ever. I don't too much running around. Even playing or as a kid, never.
Yeah, ironically, like when my kids started playing sports, because I've got an 8-year-old and an almost 6-year-old now. When they started playing sports, the first sports they went into were hockey and soccer, and like I'm like, I really want to help you, like, and get good at your sport and like teach you your sport, but I know nothing about these sports. Right. I don't even know the rules of these sports.
Have you picked up some now that they've played?
Oh, they got over it anyway. So now they're playing baseball and basketball.
Oh, okay.
Football, so.
Okay, there you go. That works.
All works out.
So, what is the weirdest, just downright weirdest show you've ever played?
There have been a few. I will say I'll go with the one in what is so aren't you, do you have some connection to Missouri? I can't remember. Or just Ohio?
I definitely have some friends out in Missouri.
Okay.
One of my buddies that I graduated with is in the Kansas City area, that he's a photographer down there, and actually introduced me to a lot of the music that's out, or bands that are out there, like Navalra.
Yeah. That's who I'm thinking of then. Yeah. Because he's in like Columbia, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, the point I was going to make is that.
Oh, that's right. I know he has. I know for a fact he has a couple of your shirts. Anyhow.
Yeah. But yeah. So one of the weird things, or most of the weird things, I should say, happened to us in Missouri for whatever reason. I don't know what it is with Missouri, but it's something in the water or something. But we played in St. Joseph, Missouri one time, and we got to the venue and we were like rolling our gear down the sidewalk and everything. And like this motorcycle gang, like probably 30 or 40 bikes, just like rolled up and like, coming up onto the sidewalk to when the curb is like this, they come up on the sidewalk so they can back their bikes up against the curb. And like one of our guys was like pushing a base cab, and like the guy on the bike like came up and like kicked his cab and stuff. Like, just, I don't know if he was like just trying to be a dick or what, but so like we're like, okay, like these guys are like pretty serious guys, like, got to be really careful with these guys. And like it was pretty cool. We had like another 30-40 people at the show and stuff, but we're on stage, like all the other bands had played already, and we were headlining, and we were on stage. And it went from like all these people in the room, all of a sudden there was like no one there. And we're just like, do we suck? Like, is it like, is the sound really bad out in the crowd, or like what happened? And like, we just kept like playing our set and everything. And at the end, like the owner or promoter, somebody come up and they're like, yeah, so sorry about that, guys. Like, we're like, what happened? And they're like, oh yeah, like somebody from a rival bike gang like showed up, and they pulled a gun, and somebody else like pulled a knife, and I don't know if somebody got stabbed or what, but like the whole place was cleared out because there's like a bike fight like in the middle of our set. And
right.
Yeah, we're just like, and then to make things like it was even funnier, like we had at the time, like we had this dude Zach who was playing drums for us, and he's like this hippie, like not a care in the world type of dude. Like he's just like kind of scatterbrained weird dude, and he's awesome. But we're walking in, and like this promoter is telling us like, make sure you guys respect these guys. Like, don't say anything bad to these guys. Like, these guys will fuck you up if you and like we're like, oh God, and like. He like one of them says, what kind of music are you? And he goes to the dude, he's like, oh, you're gonna love us, we're like Britney Spears and like all that shit you listen to. And like we're like, what did you just say to him? And like the guy just kind of like looked at him, and then just like started laughing at him. So like, oh Jesus, like it was pretty weird.
Well, I mean, at least nobody got stabbed there, you know.
Yeah, I did. Like nobody in the band got stabbed, I guess. We didn't sell much merch that night, but yeah, it could have been worse.
I mean, you know, shit happens. You get those weird shows where, well, first off, I mean, at least there was a turnout for part of, you know, and I mean, I'm sure there's been shows that you've been to where like literally the only people are there are because nobody advertised on their end or anything like that. And there's like, you know, a couple fans, but for the most part, it's just the people that work there or work for the bands or the other bands or.
Oh yeah, we've played plenty of those, and like yeah, that's one of the things that you really learn about as you start to tour, especially as like an independent band. You first get out and start touring, like on the smaller tours and stuff, is you realize how much of an asshole you are when you're the local band that doesn't tour yet, and you leave after your set. You start to understand like, oh yeah, that's like a really dick move to just like leave after you play. And a lot of bands out there like still haven't figured that out. And yeah, so we've played you know, back in the day, definitely we've played our fair share of shows to like, you know, 5, 10, 20 people. It's, you know, it's still fun. It's good times still.
All right. Favorite all-time video game?
I don't know which necessarily, but I probably have to go with Fallout series. I'm a Bethesda nerd. I'm into all the Fallout and Elder Scrolls games. Really, really enjoy all of them. Really. And I don't know. Like I've got a lot of favorites, man. I'm really into the Mass Effect series. I really like that a lot.
I'm probably going to pick up that remastered collection that they have.
I'm tempted. It's just like, okay, so I have a tendency to just buy games when I see them on sale and like when they're cheap. And like now that you can do it digitally too, like on like PS4, like on the actual console, like I just buy games and like then I have the online.
Oh, I'm bad about that now.
Ones a month. Yeah, like so I have like probably 50 games that I haven't even like started playing yet. So I can't bring myself to like replay a lot of those games just because like it's like, do I really want to spend $60 on a game I've already played when I have 50 games that I haven't played?
Look, I got to be honest. Let's see, Skyrim itself, I know I've bought in at least 4 times.
Same, yeah.
Because well, I have it on my computer. I have it on my PS5. Well, PS4. Well, was PS3. Anyways, I have it on Xbox. I have it on the Switch. And the Fallout games have not been dissimilar to that. I'm a big fan of the Bethesda games too. One of these days I keep hoping somebody wants to remaster New Vegas because that's probably my favorite one out of the ones they've made, actually.
They have a bunch of mods. They have a bunch of mods on Fallout 4 that are, or there's like this big, huge one that was supposed to be coming, or maybe it came out and then kind of like had some problems. I thought I read or something, but just like where they basically like redid New Vegas on Fallout 4. Like it's like a mod for it. I don't know. I don't know much about that stuff, to be honest, but I read something about it.
Let's see. I actually enjoyed the old Fallout games though too, like the original like top-down overhead ones, where literally if you didn't give your character enough intelligence, he literally just speak like a Neanderthal, and people would get salty about it and just like, nah, we're just not going to deal with you. And
yeah, and see, I'm not that old school with them yet. Like I started Fallout with Fallout 3, and then I started Elder Scrolls with Morrowind. So like. I'm not quite.
That's not a bad. That's actually probably the best one to have started out on as far as the Elder Scrolls games, though. I mean, Daggerfall was fun, but Morrowind was like the first one that had like that, like was so fleshed out, just with all the. That's a game that I wish somebody would actually remaster and like like build out with like, modern graphics and everything like that, I would buy that again in a heartbeat if they did that.
And that actually made me think of, because I had that on Xbox, regular Xbox, and two games that I had on regular Xbox that are probably borderline my favorite games. Now that we're talking about older games and favorite games that I wish they would remake are the Knights of the Old Republic games, because those are just like they're so good. And
they announced it. They're remastering the first two and redoing them.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
I'm gonna add somebody in here. We got the boss for Asylum, Diego, who they were making fun of for the new metal tendencies and everything like that earlier. Let me go ahead and pull him in here.
Me,
sir.
Me,
yeah, you.
Me getting made fun of for new metal tendencies?
Yes.
Never would I ever.
Diego, if you've never talked to him before, meet Robert from Sleep Signals.
What's up, man? How are you? Nice to meet you. Right on.
Likewise, man.
All right. What's going on, fellas? I figured I'd jump in here for a few minutes.
Well, we're going over random stuff. We were actually just talking about favorite video games here a second ago. Do you have a favorite all-time video game?
I do. It's the very first Donkey Kong, number 1. Super NES. That's
not the first Donkey Kong. That's Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country?
Yeah.
Look. When you say Donkey Kong, look, you're my age. How you know better?
The 2-knob controller on the arcade, keep feeding it 25 cents at a time. You talk about the original?
Getting Mario to jump over barrels.
Yep. Yeah, I do like that one, but however, Donkey Kong Country, it's still a classic. I got a banana tattooed, like with this backstory. You know this, Jay. I think you know this story. Somewhere on here. Right there. You can see it right there. Yep. And so there was a time way back in the day, just starting radio, didn't pay a lot. Super just living like ramen noodles, paycheck to paycheck. So my wife and I decided to cut out all the extra expenses, TV, running water, stuff you don't really need that much, right? Just to save a couple of bucks. And I dug out my old Super Nintendo from my mom's storage building. And every day after work, we would get home and just religiously nail that game until we beat it. And then afterwards, like, we finally decided to buy TV like 6 months later, and all that shit. We could afford the name brand ramen noodles. We were like, dude, you know how crazy it'd be get like a Donkey Kong tattoo. And Jay, you know me. I mean, look what I got going on here. I was like, yeah, Donkey Kong holding a barrel, full back piece. Let's go. And she's like, how about something a little more subtle, like a banana? And I was like, yeah, Donkey Kong back piece holding a banana. Perfect. So,
and
yeah.
She didn't go for the back piece.
No, unfortunately, we just got these little. Yeah, but Donkey Kong Country for sure. What's your guys' choices?
He was saying, the Bethesda. Well, let's see here. So actually, out of the two, what are your favorite? Like the Elder Scrolls games or the Fallout games?
And see, I don't know if I can answer that, man. Like probably Fallout. I just like the vibe of Fallout so much. Like it's just the post-apocalyptic kind of thing, and like just the retro but in the future thing. Like that whole, I don't know. There's just something really cool about it. So probably Fallout, but I love them both.
Okay.
I did play a lot of that Donkey Kong Country though too on Super Nintendo. That I remember that, and then you know what else was really cool, and it's like probably borderline embarrassing to even talk about it, but the Lion King game on Super Nintendo, that was some fire too, dude. That was a good game.
Yes, like talk about like the ultimate aggravation. Like I could never get past the drafts, but I still tried. Like
so, actually, I got kind of reminded of one of my favorite games because they came out with a new one very recently. I really like the Streets of Rage games on Sega Genesis.
Yes.
And they came out with Streets of Rage 4. And I've been playing the shit out of that again and remembering just how much I love those games.
Bro, yes.
Super cheesy storylines, but they were actually fairly complicated to play and stuff like that. I dug those, and I liked the old Final Fantasy games. The new ones, not so much. The old ones, I fucking loved.
Dude, now, like, as far as arcade, like, let's go to 7-Eleven and spend all of our grandma's tip jar change.
Tekken and Street Fighter. Tekken and Street Fighter games are what I dump the most money into, period, at arcades.
Ninja Turtles.
I was going to say Ninja Turtles too, man.
Wait, actually, you know what? If we're talking like those types,
yes,
the X-Men one's the one that I dropped a shitload of money into.
Oh, yeah.
And although I'd always get stuck with Dazzler.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, of course, somebody would immediately grab Wolverine or something. Not that I like Wolverine that much. I always wanted Nightcrawler, but usually somebody had him too. So, you know, it is what it is.
I used to love Wolverine as a character, and then Hugh Jackman come in all cut up in real life and made me feel worse about my eating regimen. Now I'm more of a Storm fan. You know what I mean? Like, no, I like Wolverine. Yeah, see, video games, dude. Like, I don't know what one. I'm super busy all the time, so I barely have time to even think about picking up the sticks a little and playing it. But like the older I've gotten, the harder it is for me to play. Like, I don't know if I just like ADD real bad anyway. So it's like, I'll start playing a game, and it's usually a sports game, you know, like Madden or NBA or something. And I'll get like 5 minutes in, and then I'll find myself like cooking toast for no reason. And I'm like, why am I even doing this? Like, I just wander off. So actually, breaking news, I just recently sold my Xbox One. And so I was like, that's it. Now, the only way I'll go back is a PS5. Oh, by the way, everybody that's in the chat, my birthday's 3 weeks away. I mean, it's not a coincidence. You know, PS5, Diego's birthday. No big deal. No, but I really do.
Look, are you jealous of it? You should be.
What's that? What?
My PS5 right there.
Yeah, a little bit, but you know, at the same time, like, I really do want one. But I know that I would get it, and I would just wear Madden out on it, and probably like NBA Live, and maybe the hockey game, and FIFA, of course.
Look, I just need them to quit doing like online deals on the PlayStation Store, kind of like what he and I were talking about just a little bit ago, because I bought shit that I still haven't played. Like, it's like, oh man, I really wanted to play that. Well, there it sits on my account, which I could play it at any given time, but
yeah,
I have a habit of anytime a sale pops up, oh, I'm gonna buy that and that and that and
yeah. Online gaming, I never really got into. Like, I don't know why, I just never got into it. But then, yeah, like you say, so you start cruising around these online stores, like Xbox has their store, PlayStation has their game store, or whatever. And you start finding these deals, and you're like, okay, all right, that's just $5. Okay, that's $15. Hell yeah. $5,500 later, you buy like 45 games all at once, and you never get through them. And you think you got a deal.
The worst thing was the worst thing with that, honestly, is like PC gaming though, because like their Steam will have sales on it, or there'll be like a Humble Bundle where they'll sell it, where it'll be like, hey, here's like 20 new games.
Yeah,
for some cheap ass price, and all of a sudden you just have a bunch that, like, I have games that I literally bought like 8-9 years ago that I still haven't actually installed.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
so,
crazy. Yeah. So I retired from gaming for a bit.
All right, so Robert, you need to tell us where, first off, that everybody can pre-order the new album, since, hey, it's coming in May.
Yeah, you can pre-order it on our we've got links on our Facebook, so you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. We actually just started a TikTok, so that's pretty new for us. So we have no idea how to use TikTok. We're figuring it out as we go.
That's all you guys.
Otherwise, yeah, you can go to sleepsignalsmerch.com and or sleepsignals.net, and that'll take you to our merch store. But sleepsignalsmerch.com. And we have the new album up there on CD and vinyl. And then pre-save should be coming up pretty soon for Spotify and Apple Music and everything.
Then I have the sneaking suspicion that the more people buy the shit out of the vinyl too, the more vinyl pressings you guys will probably be wanting to do in the future.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
this is the first one you guys have done, so.
Yeah, and that's why we and this is an EP, so it's 5 tracks that we're putting out, and that's why we put the bonus tracks on it too, because we don't want to do a 12-inch vinyl with 5 tracks. It's kind of lame. So we put 5 tracks from our last album on it too. So it's got 10 tracks on it. Like I said, it's a limited run blue vinyl too. It looks really cool. But yeah, it'll be dropping in May.
Yeah. That and that's the thing too. Like, just to throw some conversation. I got a few minutes I can hang around, then I'll bounce. I got to bounce. But the vinyl thing, I was just talking about that today on the radio side. Here is like bands are starting to get like the example was Papa Roach and Avenged Sevenfold both went gold in the last 2 weeks, and it's like bands had just been at a standstill because nobody was buying albums per se. Everybody's right here, they're downloading and shit like that, and so with the kind of like popularity of vinyl all of a sudden out of nowhere, it is a lot from like one person TikToked about it, and that's all it takes. One person talking about it, and now it's famous again. So it's like all these kids, all the younger generation. I don't know how old you are, Robert, but I'm an old dude. I'm an old dude, So I'll be 38. But it's like now all the younger generations, the 15. I got a 14-year-old daughter that's like, I want vinyl. You don't even know what vinyl is. I mean, we'll do it, but like the ways. But yeah, it's just coming back, and I think it's badass, And then as far as like the pressing and stuff, like bands are DIYing this from start to finish, and I think it's fucking awesome. Like it's just awesome. Like it's a thing. Like it's a wave.
He was showing us a little bit ago. He basically has test pressings that he has to listen to here very, very soon. All of them sitting there, so he gets to listen to basically the new and the old EP and stuff like that.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
7 of them. I got to listen to the album 7 times in a row when I get off the phone.
That's what I'm talking about. That's awesome. That's awesome. Like with the vinyl thing, so Jack White so what was it, about 10 years ago, there was 2 press machines like left. They were both
plants,
in yeah. So Jack White goes and buys possibly both. I know for sure one, and he comes and he buries it here in Nashville. So we kind of got like, we got one of the originals here in Nashville. I don't know where his shop is at, but he still does it from start to finish. He's doing all this shit right now in Nashville with the vinyls, and that's helping too because it's Jack White, So fan of the show, by the way, Jay. Sneaky fan. I didn't know until last week.
What show? What? Where? Oh, my radio?
The station. Yeah. Jack White.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
Yeah. So, yeah, right.
I know we've had all kinds of random interesting people tuning in as the shows to because we're doing radio, we're doing this and I honestly like actually doing the live thing anyhow. So,
mm-hmm. Where are you located, Robert? Where are you out of?
So the band is out of Minneapolis, technically. I live in Wisconsin, like right over the border from Minneapolis. And then the other guys are scattered all over the place. So like Oregon, Washington, Arizona.
Okay. And how's that? I mean, I'm sure Jay's already grabbed this, but I'm just gonna free you got a few minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So how is like with you guys scattered everywhere, right? And then COVID and all this shit, how has recording been different? Like, have you changed the process? Has it been the same? Has it been difficult? Like, what's the highs and lows, positives, like negatives?
Yeah, I mean, when we recorded, everybody was actually living out here, so it wasn't quite as bad with this last album. Like we're working on new music now, and that's going to be a little bit more interesting. Like we'll just fly guys out, and then we'll spend a couple weeks in the studio and just try to knock it out, kind of in a chunk of time. Whereas before we kind of would go in, for maybe 6 hours, 8 hours a day, like 4 or 5 times a week, and just kind of spread it out over a few months. So we'll have to try to like compress it a little bit timeline wise now. But yeah, we did we shot 4 videos just so we didn't have to like keep flying people out during COVID. We just got together and knocked them all out at one time. So we've got 4 videos that we just dropped one, and we have 3 more that'll drop in about 8 weeks apart from each other. And we just did it all at one time, try to knock it all out in one swoop. 2 different directors that shot 2 each, and yeah, we don't have to see each other until until later this year.
Right. Awesome. Yeah, it's definitely changed the way like even us, like we Jay and I are never in the same room, except for like special events, but kind of doing this is kind of been, thrown to the forefront of everything, and the bands with the live. And you guys thought about or even got in on a possible like live acoustic set or just a
we were talking about the live stream thing with everybody so separate. It makes it rough.
Yeah, it's not super practical for us because we're spread out. But yeah, like I know a lot of bands have been doing it, and it's pretty cool. Jay and I were talking about it. It's kind of weird. Like I feel, like we've played those shows back in the day where we're playing to like 5-10 people, and I feel like playing the live stream like that would feel just like that, like where you're playing to like no one but the camera guy. And I just feel like it'd be really weird. I don't know, like part of live
that's
music,
watching. I hope you dig this.
right? Like part of live music is like the energy, and like we feed off of the people in the crowd. Like there's nothing better than a huge, floor full of people screaming, and it's like you feed off of that and gives you, it pumps you up and like gives you that energy. So it's. I feel like it'd be weird. I don't know. It's cool, but I just think it'd be weird.
Yeah. It definitely would be a little different from the norm. Like same thing with even for the 30 seconds at a time we're on stage bringing bands on. Like we're opened up a little in Nashville, so we're able to get out and do some local shows and stuff like that. But still, people are starting to trickle in. So it's like
it makes one of us.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You're coming down soon though. We'll be in Georgia soon together.
Until there's that, yeah, but it's getting out of Ohio to be able to do anything, because right now, while they're opening things up to a degree, people around here don't listen, so I'm sure that somebody's gonna get us on lockdown again.
Yeah, Jared, don't you fuck this up for the rest of us. You better put your mask on. Yeah, it's just a whole different dynamic. I don't know, like what's your take on it? You think it's helped kind of the rock scene overall? Does it hurt it? Because it kind of like you're putting everybody's ass in their own living room basically, and you have this plethora of just music out there. And a lot of the like the hip hop scene is boring. It is what it is. I'm from California, so it's like the hip hop is always going to be West Coast, and it's only going to be one hip hop scene. And that's old school, right? But then you got the Nicki Minaj's of the world and shit like that. But slowly, and some people are paying attention and most not. And this is where the whole new metal kid comes out in me hardcore, is like more hip hop artists are trying to sneak their way into rock. And like sneaky kids are getting into rock music because it's like, oh, Machine Gun Kelly cut a track with Travis Barker. And I'm like, yeah, Travis Barker's from Blink-182. Why don't you go listen to their back catalog? Next thing you know, Fan, Post Malone's with that, wrote that guy's song. That Ozzy guy got to sing with Post Malone. I'm like, yeah, that's Ozzy's song. Why don't you go check it out? Here's his catalog, Fan. It's like, what's your take? What's your take with the whole crossover? Like, I want to call it new metal part 2, but there's a lot of people who are like, no, that died. Yeah, maybe.
Everything's in waves, man. I mean, like everything. Like new metal will come back if this probably. I agree with you. Like it kind of is like new metal too. And if it's not, like it's gonna come. It's just it's inevitable. Yeah. Like, and I don't know. I mean, like there are a lot of. Again, Jay and I were kind of talking about this before. Like I'm not keeping up with as many new bands as I probably should, because I'm always writing music. I don't listen to as much music as I should. But there are definitely like a lot of bands that are coming up that have a lot more of the kind of like the new metal kind of vibe to them, like a lot of the most modern active rock stuff is like, it's super new metal.
Mm-hmm. It really is. It really is. It's crazy. Like you said, it will come in waves, and this will go for 3 or 4 years, and then we'll see something new and something different. But for right now, it's just putting all the rock kids on the map. Like I'm having a ball. Like personally, I love it. There's so much new music and so many talented artists. And I've said it a million times over, right? COVID has sucked ass. But at the same time, I feel like it's helped the rock community because it somehow, some way, like everybody's paying attention now. And that could just be the vibe I'm getting from the other end, because I have no business as on the musician end. That's you guys. You guys are all the talent on there. But it just feels like it's just coming back around. And I love it. Like, I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, one interesting thing, that our one of the directors we just worked with that shot 2 of our videos, he was telling us, that he thinks that this is kind of like the whole live stream thing and like the post-COVID thing. Like, this is kind of like, he was saying this is kind of going to be like the next thing, like the online shows, like because he basically put it this way, like, it's super expensive to tour. Like, anytime bands are touring, it's really expensive. And, like, bands are starting to get out and do these, like a bill where you've got 3-4 bands, just like you'd have for an actual show, but you're doing it on Facebook Live and YouTube. And, they're doing it all via live stream. And these artists are figuring out, like, oh, I can make like the same amount of money I'd make going out on tour and not have to go spend all the money to go out on tour and like buy a bus and do all these things, all the stuff that comes along with going on tour. So it's really, I think it'll be really interesting to see like where the industry goes from here as things open back up. Cause I personally feel like it'll be kind of a hybrid. I don't think you'll ever replace live music. Like, live music has just like, it's the feeling you get when you're at a live show that you can't reproduce no matter how hard you try in a digital world. Like, you just can't reproduce that. So I feel like it'll be kind of hybrid. But I do kind of agree with him. I think like it'll be a thing, like this live stream thing after COVID will be a thing, like where bands are doing it,
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I think it's awesome. I think it's really awesome. Well, gentlemen, I got to jump out of here. Thank you so much for bringing me on, Jay. Robert, thanks for your time. Awesome meeting you.
Likewise.
Bro, come back anytime, right? Anytime. We'd love to have you anytime. So thank you guys once again. We'll see you later.
Later, sir. So, a couple hot take questions, just because there's been at least some entertaining stuff that's come out over the last week or so. And some things that suck, but, got all over the place there. So actually, we'll start with something that sucks. I'm sure being part of the music industry, you get to have the wonderful thing of hearing about people showing their ass basically in modern times. How do you feel about Flaw right now?
About Flaw?
Have you heard about that one?
What did Flaw do? No, I don't think I heard about Flaw.
Well, okay, so I'm not going to go into full detail because let's go ahead and keep it fairly vague because most people know. And so he decided to, at a live show, on a hot mic, yelling at the sound guys, dropping the N-word towards the sound guys. Of course, in a time where everybody is recording with their phones. So...
yeah, I'm sure that didn't go well. So what's the question?
Well, so obviously there seems to be more and more musicians that kind of are almost blacklisting themselves lately, which has been a really interesting trend over the last year or so. I mean, like, I don't know that you can really count Trapped in there because I really don't know who was listening to Trapped still at that point. But and then like there's Iced Earth with their Tim Schafer, who's still incarcerated for the whole being part of the whole Capitol thing, and it just seems like there's a lot of a weird trend of musicians either blacklisting themselves or getting arrested because of doing stuff like this lately. And it's a new age of weird ass rock star shit.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that I thought it was really interesting. Like, I'm sure you probably saw like the Corey Taylor stuff that he was talking about recently, right? I think he put it in an interesting way. Like, I don't support what any of these guys are doing. I don't support any of the, the things that a lot of these guys are saying, but people do make mistakes sometimes, and it's there are certain things where people do things that are just like, I mean, like, it's like, yeah, you're fucked now, dude, because you just did something really bad. But like, I mean, I'm not perfect. I don't know many people who are perfect, like.
And I've seen people turn around too, where
yeah, for sure. And there's another side of it too, like look at the trap thing, like I know the drummer quit, and cited, differences with the singer and stuff like that, and it is what it is. But just because you have one member of the band who
lost their mind,
does something stupid, like the whole band is getting canceled, and like I think that like I don't want to get too deep into the cancel culture stuff, but and then sometimes these people deserve it, certainly, but I think there is like a little bit of room for kind of like forgiveness and understanding that people make mistakes and people do stupid things. People say stupid things. I've said stupid things. I've done stupid things and things I regret,
who hasn't?
Right. And that's the thing. And I know that like that was kind of the point that Corey Taylor was making in that recent article or interview or whatever it was. I think that he put it pretty well. And I feel like he, like I probably shouldn't even be saying this because like I'm not Corey Taylor. Like I feel like he would, if he wasn't Corey Taylor, he'd probably take way more flack for it.
Right.
But like I said, like ultimately for me, like like I said, I don't support the negativity. I don't support the wrongdoing. But at the same time, like I also understand that people make mistakes and sometimes they deserve a second chance, like if they continuously fuck up, then I mean, like you can't fix stupid, I guess. But, like people mess up all the time.
Yeah.
Part of life.
And then let's see here.
You're probably going to get my band. You're probably going to get my band canceled now, Jay.
I'm going to get your band canceled. At this point, I mean, there's somebody trying to cancel somebody everywhere. I don't know. It's a weird time to be alive. It really is.
It is. I agree with you. And it's both sides. It's both sides of the political spectrum and everything.
Oh, I feel like they're all crazy. All of them. Yeah. But it is what it is. Let's see here. There's been some album releases. I forgot the fact that Number of the Beast is older than I am, but that album's 39 years old now. But one thing actually, so I don't know if you were a fan of Under Oath over the years. So they one of their founding members just passed away this last week, Corey Steger, their original guitarist. Wanted to mention that just because we've actually done stuff with him. One of my good friends down in Florida, Matt Knowles, who has a project called Heirs of Isildur. Actually, ironically enough, the new album that he's writing is going to have literally his Corey's last guitar parts that he recorded before he passed away. That was literally recorded about 3 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, I hadn't heard about that. That's unfortunate, man. Like, yeah, I haven't listened to him in a long time, but definitely, the actually like probably the first like 3 albums, including the 2 EPs. I don't even remember what they're called, but they used to sound like so much different. They were like super heavy. Like,
and he was actually he was on the first. He was the guitarist for the first 2 albums. So,
okay. What is the Safety? What is that album called with the mask on the front? The
I know which one you're talking about, and I'm terrible with album names.
I am too. I'm absolutely terrible with it. I picture it in my head. I know exactly what it is. But...
Exactly. I can remember album art. Like it. No.
Oh, they're only chasing safety. That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah, that album was great. Like that was a super influential album for me growing up, for sure.
But yeah, so it's definitely sad news on that. He passed away a car accident. And that being said, for anybody looking there, there's actually, we'll post up at some point later on, there's a GoFundMe for the family and stuff like that going on, just because, I mean, obviously something completely I mean, not that you can ever really prepare for that type of thing, but they certainly weren't prepared. I mean, so, but I won't keep you much longer here because honestly, I've burnt through a lot of the stuff I wanted to talk about. And so obviously sleepsignalsmerch.com. You can pre-order the new album, get yourself a vinyl, get yourself all kinds of cool new merch. And actually, you guys have some of your older merch up on, there's a old site on that too, or what was the other site?
Yeah, we still have some of our old designs and stuff that we've had like over the last couple tours and stuff that we have a few random sizes and stuff left too. So yeah, you can find some of those old ones too.
Help them sell off the rest of those so they can make more merch.
It's true, because we don't have room for all the new merch. We have to make room for the new merch.
But and then probably in another, I don't know, we'll say probably about 7-ish weeks, we'll probably be seeing a new single and video. Which ones? Which song's dropping next?
Good question. I don't know yet. We're talking with our radio guy right now, trying to figure out what we want to do. I know which song is going to go to radio next, like to FM and Octane and everything. But I don't know if that will be the next track or if we're going to release another one before that. I suspect we're going to drop another one before that. So I know which one it's not going to be, probably. I know that's like really helpful, right?
Right. Super helpful. No, but
I think it'll either be a song called The Return or it'll be a song called The Victim. It'll be one of those two songs. Right.
And it's not like anybody has any frame of reference because, well, nobody's heard it.
That's right.
But you will. I'm super looking forward to the new stuff just because, well, I mean, I've been following you guys for, God, it's been about almost 5 years now at this point. And I have always enjoyed everything you guys do.
Thanks, man. It means a lot to us.
And I'm glad that, well, hey, you know what? There's actually a bright side to not being able to tour right now. You can't, in theory, catch a van on fire.
That's not to say that we don't have a van anymore. Now we have a bus.
Okay.
But
don't catch that on fire either.
Our bus is still like parked somewhere, so it theoretically could still start on fire. So let's not jinx us here.
Look, you need to start get some actual legitimate fireproof lining and stuff like that. You know, actually, you know what? Like fire safes and stuff like that might not be a bad thing if you have the space to start carrying around with you.
Now we're fireproof, man. That's the whole gimmick, the whole joke. So we never talked about that, right? Like you talked about the van thing, but not how it influenced. So like that's what happened. Like the van exploded, and then the next tour we went out on, the artwork for the tour ad mat was literally our van on fire.
It was great. I loved it. I loved it so much.
Yeah, and then we called it the Fireproof Tour. And that was the tour. That was the tour when I had my stroke, actually. So I didn't get to go on that tour. We had a film.
Right. The timing was awesome on that. I remember that.
Yeah. And then so then we're like, all right, we're gonna write a song called Fireproof, and I don't know what it's gonna be about, but we're writing some song called Fireproof. And then
you had to.
Yeah, and then I came up with a chorus, and I'm just like, I know this has nothing to do with the van explosion, but it's really good and it's and it works. So it ended up being about a girl instead. But yeah, it's the people who know, they know that it's about our van exploding.
All right. So before we go, anything else you wanted to throw out there? Mention obviously, watch the video for Means.
Yeah,
Download
please
the track.
do. Yeah, drop us a comment. Let us know what you think. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. Make sure you follow it on Spotify, Apple Music. Go follow us on TikTok. We just started that TikTok up, and we don't know what we're doing. So come help us figure out how to use TikTok. And otherwise, like hopefully shows will be back soon. We'll be back out on the road again. And when we do, come talk to us. If you have COVID, stay home. But like, if you don't have COVID, come talk to us. Come hang out with us because we'd love to meet you. And that's part of. It's part of the best part
out
of
on the road.
Yeah, we miss that. We miss it so much, and it's because of meeting people. Like that's really it's even more about it's more about meeting people than it is about the music. Even and for us, it's just we like to make friends, and we're social dudes. We like to hang out.
Well, next time you guys are around, well, hell, I'll even travel out a little bit. I don't care. I mean, honestly, I'll probably end up in Wisconsin at some point anyhow, because actually one of our folks here at Asylum, they're I can't remember where in Wisconsin, but they live up in Wisconsin. She's our Takara Defiance. She ends up traveling around with a lot of the New Zealand bands when they come around. She actually lived in New Zealand for years, so and her accent comes out when she gets pissed at us.
And yeah, Tamara just said would love to see you at the machine shop. And speaking of New Zealand, like we were just at the machine shop with Like a Storm. Where were you, Tamara? We were there. We were just there.
Oh no, Tamara. It's Takara that's actually from in Wisconsin. Tamara, I can't remember where she's based out.
Oh no, she's saying she wants to see us at the machine shop, and I said we were just at the machine shop. Well, I say we were just there.
Everybody keeps saying like
there,
I keep, dude. Every concert that I talk about, yeah, exactly. I keep thinking like, oh yeah, the concert was just last year. Oh no, it wasn't last year. Shit.
Right.
I have a bunch of tickets for shows that are from last year that I didn't get to go to because of.
Yeah, so Tamara's in Michigan, I guess. So we just came through Michigan with Like a Storm at the machine shop, and then we went to what's the big venue in Detroit? Is it like the Fillmore? I want to say. We came through Detroit with Hell Yeah and Nonpoint, and then I think 2018 we went through Grand Rapids or Detroit or something with Atreyu and Ice Nine Kills and Memphis Mayfire. So like we've been through Michigan a lot. So Tamara, if you haven't seen us,
she says she's pretty sure that she did see you. Oh,
you've been slacking.
Fillmore, yeah.
We'll be back though. We'll be back.
Right. Come back to Ohio. I know it's boring in Ohio, but come back to Ohio.
We will.
Come to Columbus. That makes it even easier for me.
We've never been to Columbus, actually. I don't think we've ever played in Columbus before.
There's some really good venues. There's a couple of venues that have shut down recently, but still, there's some really good. The Newport's fantastic here. That's where honestly a lot of stuff comes through. Not to mention there's actually like arenas and stuff too. But
yeah, we're not selling out arenas yet, so I don't think we need them.
Well, shit, nobody's selling out arenas right now. So
well, that's true, but we're real far away from selling out arenas.
But anyway, sir, once again, thank you very much. I am super happy that we had a chance to chat, and like I said, I cannot wait to hear the new stuff. And don't be surprised if I order some merch very, very soon from you, anyhow, too. So because I need some new merch. I don't think I've had any. It's been about 2 years since I've gotten new merch from you guys. So,
hell yeah, we appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Well, have a good one. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Stay out of trouble.
All those things.
Hopefully,
I got you.
Yeah, no. All right, man. Have a good one.
Right. Take care. Bye.
All right, guys. I'm going to sign off. Thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. And like I said, make sure to check out their merch, pre-order their album. Fantastic guys, fantastic band. Hope you dig it. It's Jay Wendell. I'm the hell out of here. Peace.